Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an Object 261. It's a Tier 10 Soviet SPG. It's located on the north spawn of Malinovka Encounter, and it's under the command of the BassmanFromHell. Game started, and the gun's dropped. No, he is in action. Now this Arty is based on the IS-7. In fact, he doesn't appear to be making any noise whatsoever at the moment. Oh no, he is making noise now. It's the IS-7 hull, but it's an 18cm howitzer mounted on top of it, and it's capable of doing 900 alpha and penetrating 45mm of armour with burst radius of 10 meters and a reload time of 25.2 seconds. And that reload time is actually very, very good indeed, which makes this almost, you could say, like the 155mm howitzer, but almost as quick and does more damage. Well, he's looking over the other side of the hill and waiting for the first enemy to turn up. It's an Object 140. He fires a shot in ahead. Lovely direct hit right on the rear of the vehicle. Changing position to avoid counter battery, just in case the enemy was looking. Okay, he's found another spot. Knocked a tree down in the process of doing that, but okay, I think he's found his spot ready to shoot. Okay, he's going after the same Object 140 again. He's loaded, ready to go. Rounds out straight away. He doesn't stop to have a look, and unfortunately that means we didn't get to see that he actually did get a direct hit for 372 from that shot. I may have to take control of the camera if he keeps doing this, just so that we can see exactly what damage he's doing. I think I will do that on his subsequent shots. We do like to see the actual shot hit the target, just so we can confirm exactly where it went and what it did. He's moved a bit closer to the hill. He's knocked over one tree, but he's moving forward. Now, normally if you knock a tree down, there's a good chance that the enemy might take from the fact that the tree was knocked down that somebody was using it for cover and they'd aim at it. But it looks from all the stuns on the hill like the enemy is actually firing at our tanks. Okay, I'm going to take control of the aim. Well, he did actually stay with the aim there, so on that shot can see that he fired it at 279 and got a near miss 304. If you're wondering about that purple line, I think it's a mod fault that we've seen for many years on this particular aiming system. Take control of the camera again. He did move directly afterwards, but we can see the shell actually did land next to the tank. And he's picked up some more splash, 346. So good job we took control of the camera just as he fired. Otherwise we would have missed that. Now a 60 TP just killed our Object 430U. And we're now aiming for a superconk. Direct hit for 736 showing, but it's actually showing 279 on the list. Sometimes it will actually do a huge amount of damage to an enemy tank, but it only records 279 or whatever the figure was that's actually showing in the damage list. Okay, we're going back to see what he's aiming at now. I'll take control of the camera just before he's ready to shoot. He's firing a premium round. Hits the 279E, but leaves him on only 36 hit points. The very next shot comes in from our fellow Object 261 on this team and kills him outright. Well, there's still a couple of tanks, or well, there's a 60 TP and a T110E5 up on the hill. Our IS-7 dies to a shot from behind by the E5, but Bassman fires a round in, hits the E5, only gets 252, but it slows him down because he got tracked at the same time. Our E3 is almost out of hit points, and I think that E5 knows it, and he's going in to try and get the kill. Luckily our 705 has slightly more hit points. I think that's kind of put the 60 TP and the T110E5 off. Oh, he fires around in and he hits the E5 and the 60 TP, and he's completed whatever mission he was intended to complete. Oh, he had to do 2,000 hit points of damage to heavy tanks to get Union 9 for the Chimera. He's actually got 2,792, but not all of that damage was actually done to heavy tanks. He's now trying to get that E5. We lost the E3. Well, he took out the E5, got that guy, but the 60 TP is just behind. Oh, he fires around in, penetrates the 705A, but the 705A is about to reload. And I think that 60 TP's about had his time. In fact, actually, the T92 HMC on our team finishes him off. And now Bassman's looking at an Object 268-4. The shell goes long, explodes way behind him, and he's now relocated to a new firing position. Now the enemy is fairly close actually. There's an M48 pattern in the dip. You know, that ramp there. Can't get a shot on him because the trajectory of this shell is too shallow. But he can shoot at the Object 2684. And that's where he's aiming at the moment. He's looking for that 2684 to pop up. Now he doesn't want to go further up the hill, because if he does, he'll expose himself to fire from the 2684, who will fire at him as he's on the way up the hill. But on the other hand, if he goes further down the hill, there's still a number of enemy tanks who have not been killed yet, and they could be a problem because they could be coming up behind us. Okay, the E3 on the enemy team has been spotted. He's lining it up, fires around in, gets a direct hit. Because he stayed with the camera, we saw that the shell disappeared without an explosion, so we know we've got that one, but no kill. So he's going to have a higher damage total at the end of the game. He's already got 2,986, and that's got to put him in the high scorers list. Going for an M48 pattern. That's the same one who was up north bank of the on the dip, and in fact, actually, he's been killed. He must have come out of the dip, crossed the lake, and gone near the cap area. In fact, trying to come up behind us, and he made a big mistake because once he was spotted, they took him out, and it was the FV4005, the Heshbarn, who got the kill. So we're still looking for that Object 2684. We don't have to worry about the M48 pattern again, because he could have popped out of that dip, you see, and come straight towards us, even though we've got a Jaeger in the way. Our IS-4's going up on top of the hill. Oh, now this is interesting. The Jaeger just got taken out by that E3. He fires around in, direct hit. Oh, that was a good one. And he got some stun assist off that as well. Staying on that target for the moment. We've lost sight of the 2684 as well. That's another problem. Again, these tanks, if they could get round behind us, they'd try and take out the other Object 261 T92. And the 2684 has been spotted. There he is. Lining up the shot, dialing it in, let the reticule get really tight, and he got a direct hit. But I don't think he hit the 2684. I actually think he hit the E3, because the 2684 seemed to be moving to the right as he pulled away, and there's the E3, and he was almost, yes, that the shell looked as if it hit the E3, not the 2684. Unfortunately, that one didn't hit either of them, but I suspect that he did take some splash damage. There's only one in the cap so far, plenty of time. Now you have to guess that the tank, whoever's capping, will be in the dip, and he's aimed it for that spot. Didn't get a reset though. The reason they'd have to be in the dip area there, because if they knew that we had any tanks nearby who could spot the flat area on the plane, then they'd immediately get shot at. So obviously they hide in the dip just to make sure that we didn't have anybody. with the capability of looking over the cap. The FP4005's moved down to the cap area, and that didn't get a reset either. And he's only got 3 shells left, Bassman. Running short of ammo, that's a common problem for the Object 261, I'm afraid. And we now know where the E3 is. He's popped into the ramp, the dip, again, taking up the space that the M48 Patton had. It's incredibly difficult to hit tanks that are in that dip if you've got a low trajectory Arty like the Object 261. The FP4005 has managed to get a reset, funnily enough, or at least somebody's managed to get a reset. It might be the T92 HMC or the 261, but nobody's been seen in the cap yet, so it was a blind reset. The 2684's coming up on our T92. He bites the dust. Bassman fires in at the 268, gets a hit, stuns him. Unfortunately, our FP4005 is out of place to actually deal with the 268. We've got 2 of them, but the thing is that one's near the cap and the other one's near us. And in fact, actually, our Heshbon is running in the opposite direction to the Object 268, and our Object 261 teammate down there is actually going in to try and shotgun the 2684, who is in the dip. He's actually in the water, and the Object 261 is threatening to shotgun him. But meanwhile, the enemy Arty is having a go at him. So all the Bassman can do is aim at that 268 in the hope that he does come out. Oh, no, he's decided he's going to relocate as well. I'm afraid he's having to let his teammate in the Object 261 die because, well, he decided to stay where he was. And the Bassman needs to get away as quickly as he can, get up on top of the hill, because he's the last remaining Arty in the game, and he's only got 2 rounds anyway. The enemy is still capping. We don't know who it is in the cap, but could be the Foch B. I doubt if it's one of the Artys, but if it is one of the Artys, it would be an easy kill. Oh, it's the E3. It's the E3 that's actually in the cap. He's been spotted now. Bassman's going to try for a reset and see if he can kill the E3. Okay, here we go. Rounds out. Direct hit! But only 304 hit points. But that leaves the E3 on a 1-shot, which means he can be killed with another Arty round. But Bassman's only got 1 round left now. The FP4005 is going in to try and get the kill. But the E3's gun is just as deadly when he's on low hit points as it is when he is on high. And unfortunately, they have capped out and it's all over. They didn't get to him in time, and yep, sad that. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. Well, I'm afraid it was a loss, this game, but the Bassman managed to get second class tanker. He also picked up a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 12, and he got a Gore's medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle. And his win rate from the battle was 4,301, which is Super Unicum status. But sadly, he just couldn't get another shot in time to actually get the reset. And yeah, 4,550 hit points of damage, easily the highest damage, but no high caliber. And the next high scorer was the Heshbon, who got 3,252 hit points, followed by the Conqueror gun carriage on the enemy team, who got a Confederate and 2,889 hit points. The Object 261 on the enemy team also picked up a Confederate. When it came to kills, it was actually the T110E5 on the enemy team got 3 kills, 2 kills to the Object 2684, and also to BassmanFromHell and the FP4005. And when it came to base XP, it was the Conqueror who did the best with 779, 738 goes to the 60TP, 720 goes to the Object 279E, and Bassman was the highest scorer on his own team with 547, but sadly it was a loss. Bassman fired 19 rounds in that game. He only had 1 round left at the end of the game. He got 10 direct hits, no penetrations, but 18 splash. Damage of 4,550 hit points, of which 4,240 were at more than 300 meters. He damaged 9 of the enemy, killed 1, did 1,036 hit points of damage assistance, plus 2,817 hit points of stun assist of 17 stuns, and he got 13 defense points when he reset the cap. On a premium count, he earned 75,252 credits, got 6,839 for courageous resistance, that's for getting an epic or battle hero medal in a losing or a drawn game, and his total was 82,091 credits. After ammunition resupply, he still came away with a profit of 18,371 credits. He picked up 5 bombs from the battle and 820 XP, 511 for courageous resistance, and took away 1,332 experience points altogether. Yeah, sad this, because he did the most damage, put the most effort in, but in the end he just couldn't get the reset, because until the Heshpan moved close enough, he couldn't see who was in the cap. He fired twice into the cap without any effect whatsoever, because he just couldn't see where they were. In fact, they were probably capping on the far side of the cap, still in the dip, but right on the far side, and they were just outside the splash area. So it was sad, because if only his team had acted more concertedly to actually find out who was in the cap and where they were, then they might have actually survived and got a win out of this. If the FV4005 had moved onto the hill opposite the actual cap area, nearer their side that is, then he might have been able to look down and find out where the enemy was without actually firing, without revealing his position, but still getting the resets from the Arty. But sadly, by moving the FV4005 down to the flat, where he couldn't see people in the dip, the other one also leaving and going in the opposite direction when he should have gone south to deal with that 2684, actually left them wide open, and they just weren't able to get the kills on the cap area. If the T92 HMC and the other Object 261 had not been killed, then they would have had enough Arty firepower to get the resets necessary to eventually get the win. But sadly, I'm afraid this team did not act as well as Bassman did, and so unfortunately they let a Viper into the den, and he went in and killed both Arty. He ended up, did he get a Pascucci's? Or was it somebody else on their team? Yes, he did get a Pascucci's, that Object 2684. Didn't get a whole lot of damage, that guy, but he did effectively neuter Bassman's team, because without that, without the Arty, they just weren't able to get the resets. And we can see it was actually the Foch B, not the E3. It was the Foch B that was capping. I did suggest during the game there might be the Foch B who was capping, but it was him who was capping. He ended up with an Invader medal out of that one. Fortunately, there it goes, it shows. He didn't do much in the way of damage throughout the entire game, only fired 4 shots, 3 direct hits, 1 penetration, but he did cap for 91 cap points, so we just didn't see him, and if we had seen that guy, then it might have been different. But the E3 just went in there to assist in completing the cap, and if we'd actually got the reset on him, then it would have been a different game altogether. There you go. Nice try, Bassman. I hope you have a better team next time. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.